You're listening to The Watchers, a show where two women from opposite ends of New Jersey. Three women for our non-video podcast from opposite ends of New Jersey watch movies and TV where Jeff Hiller goes, meh.
He didn't do the hands really. He did them a little bit.
They were like implied, I think.
Yeah. Implied hands.
So
we love Jeff Hiller.
That's all I want to talk about.
Yeah. Good old Larry in his bike uniform.
So good.
I'm Jodie.
Oh, yeah, that's the important part. You're Jodie. I'm Andrea.
And we're going to cover 4 through 6 of Pluribus.
That's right.
So last time we kind of introduced the show, talked about the cast, all of that. We're not going to do that again. If if you're just hopping in here and you want to hear us talk about that, last week we did a good background on the whole thing. We're just going to kind of pick up from the events of episode 4, where we finally meet for real Menusos.
Yeah, let's try to stick to our format this week, and our listeners can decide how well we actually stick to it. So let's just start episode 4, Please Carol. Like you said, this is the one where we meet Menusos. Carol is really trying to understand the hive mind, finally. This is where it starts to become more of Carol figuring out a mystery. She's testing whether or not they can lie by questioning one of the others, played by our beloved Jeff Hiller. She asks him about her books and Helen, and we'll get into that. She visits Zosha, where we find out that Carol was sent to conversion camp as a teen and that the joining can be reversed, which leads Carol to recording herself while experimenting with sodium thiopental, which pentothal, I think, is the brand name. But sodium thiopental, which is a truth serum, theoretically. I went down a whole thing reading about that. I don't know how much we need to talk about it. Finally, she secretly drugs Zosha, causing her to collapse. The episode ends with the others surrounding Carol, begging her to stop by chanting, Please, Carol. And the most important part of that episode is that brings our Zosha near-death count to 3, I think.
3, yes. Clearly the most important part of that episode.
I think those are the big things, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Where do you want to jump in? Menusos, probably?
So, yeah, I think we should start with Menusos since we kind of briefly got introduced to him last time. We now see things from his perspective. Right? The phone call. We see what he's been doing, which is checking these radio stations. He's very Desmond in the hatch.
I love just a very quiet, lost, regimented, principled guy doing his job.
Yep. We find out that he is much more resistant. Carol's been pretty resistant to these people, but he is the extreme version of this. He's tossing over the food that they give him.
They're such a fun foil to each other, where Carol thinks she's being this principled, like you said, resistant. But I mean,
and compared to Mr. Diabate, she is. Yeah. There's these levels of it, right? There's the full on assimilation. Please figure out how to make me one of you. Then there's Diabate, who's you know what? I'm going to have fun with this. Then it kind of goes down from there, and we get to Menusos, who is literally refusing any help whatsoever. He also, because he hasn't had any real contact with them, I think doesn't know very much about what's been going on.
Because his windows are boarded up. He's got the door barricaded, which if you spent any time really talking with him, you'd realize pretty quickly it's not something you really need to do. I was thinking about what a good job the show's doing, despite the fact that we didn't spend a lot of time. I mean, we spent no time with Menusos before the joining, of showing us who these people were / are and how that informs them now. He's so principled, and when he breaks into the storage units to finally get food, he leaves a note for, as far as he knows, I mean, we don't know, but he seems to think at least that everybody is turned. So this note is either for hopefully
in case things go back,
right?
Yeah.
I think he probably hasn't thought that much about that note. It's just he's breaking into other people's things, and again, he's just so. I think I've said principled 3 times right now, but
But it's true. He's sticking to the old rules, basically.
Right.
Like he's not buying into any of the new ways, I guess. He also may not know what they are.
Yeah.
He is in a very classic zombie apocalypse movie
Totally.
still, and the rest are in something else.
I love that. He has
like he's still in The Last of Us.
Yeah,
or something.
He didn't get to meet the Undersecretary of Agriculture or whatever on the phone and find out what's really going on, as far as we know. The one thing he does that I do like, as we see, somebody is bringing him dinner. When you and I talked about it, you mentioned it's like a very maternal figure, and juxtaposing that with Carol, where they just send the hottest lady they can find.
Yep.
Really smart to try to see who's going to most likely.
Well, and the interesting thing about that is, like, I guess we know that, like, the hive knows things about Carol because of Helen, right? Because Helen's memories are part of their knowledge base. We don't know other than maybe his mother, right?
Who,
if anyone that knows Manusos very well is a part of the hive.
Right.
So we don't know how much they actually know about him.
That's right.
And so that's sort of he's kind of maybe a black box to them. We're not quite sure.
Yeah, it's such a fun, we talked about it last week a little bit, but it is such a fun take on this kind of thing that they're not mind readers at all. They're just have access to everybody's mind who's alive or who was alive at the time of the joining. It's cool.
So, he is resisting so far that he's basically eating dog food instead of the food that's being left for him. It's rather gross. And we see him answer the phone, and we see the fun thing here for me was when you kind of see it dawn on him that this person that he is talking to on the phone is cursing at him, and therefore maybe not one of these people.
Right, yeah.
And so he writes down Carol S. Turca.
Yeah, I looked that up. It means Turkish first and foremost, but I also read a few different translations for slang that it's like heavy drinker. I also read maybe slang for like dick, like a slang for penis. I don't know if any of those are true, but it's just fun to think about him hearing her name and like what
I found was it's often used to refer to a persistent obsession or an activity someone is deeply engrossed in.
Perfect.
So
for both of them, really.
Estoy en un turca de leer libros de misterio. I'm on a mystery book reading binge. So the word binge kind of fits in there too. So love that.
Yeah, I really like that a lot.
That's really most of what we see of him this episode.
Yeah, if you're curious, the dog food is haggis mostly. It wasn't. This is again from the Pluribus podcast. Go listen if you're not. Is haggis, and then because it wasn't gross enough, they had to add some like broth or something to make it more like viscous.
Yeah.
So
and they had to have it be more congealed, which is horrible. Yeah, no, Vesca, the guy who plays Manuso, seems to be really awesome. He's given so little in terms of dialogue, and you know so much about him already.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're already kind of rooting for him because it's like, if you were rooting at all for Carol when she was super like, fuck off, don't talk to me, you're definitely rooting for him because he doesn't have the same, as of what we know right now, doesn't have the same maybe personality issues that we've discovered with Carol. He could be more of a pure quote unquote hero at this point.
Yeah, there are a couple of little things here that you really get. One is I love the way he eats the dog food. He's obviously not enjoying it, but they don't play it up. He's not like gagging. He's got to eat, so he's eating and he's dealing with it. And he's not acting. There's nobody else there. He's not like acting like a tough guy for anybody other than himself. The other thing I just want to spend a little more time with him. I have like two other little things. Sure. One is he does knock the food over that they bring every day, but he takes a peek first. He wants to see
always got to check.
Yeah.
I know.
I kind of get it. And then I don't know, something that we cut this when we started to talk about him last week. So if you want to talk about, I don't know if we need to, but I thought it was interesting. If you want to talk about the Colombian, he's a Colombian guy in Paraguay, you're welcome to.
Oh, yeah. It's just a little thing that they mentioned on the podcast where so this character is supposed to be in Paraguay, but apparently that's a really tough accent to do, and it's not a very common one. And so Vince Gilligan basically decided that the character would be a Colombian person who has moved to Paraguay. So he didn't have to try to do an accent that he, like quickly especially, that he wasn't super comfortable with. Apparently it's like one of the most distinct accents of all of the sort of South American countries.
Yeah. And so they like put a little Colombian game in it so that to kind of give that backstory. It's another example. I really love how down to like, I don't know, work with his actors and stuff in Gilligan seems. It's cool.
Yeah. No, I love this character. I feel like the exciting part for me is, again, seeing these different levels of how people are reacting and interacting with the Borg, the blob, the hive, the others.
I think on that spectrum, would you put yourself closer to Manusos?
I would say, though, I can't. So I think I'm between Carol and Manusos.
Yeah, I think I'm probably between Carol and Diabate.
Diabate, yeah. So. Well, we'll get to that. But the Carol and Zosha are the main focus of this episode. Right. Because we've got caper music popping up every now and then. It's really in the next one, but it's here when when Manusos is going to try to break into the storage units. And it's also with Carol on and off throughout this episode, this like sort of upbeat, like solving a mystery type of music.
Yeah. When we get to the end of episode 9, I'd like to spend, obviously we don't know the last 2 of this season, but I'd really like to spend some time talking about the sound design. There's just so much interesting stuff, and I think we can talk about it.
I would like to talk about the color grading, so we can go do all of that nerdy stuff.
Do some like big deep dives on those 2 things. But this is a great example. If we're kind of like signposting those moments, I think that music is so fun.
But Zosha's in the hospital, and so Carol goes to visit her. She's still kind of dirty and beat up from the explosion of the grenade from last episode. She's leaving the hospital, I guess, after visiting Zosha, and she picks her car, which is the police car.
So funny.
Which, I mean, there's a lot of sort of like white lady Karen cop vibes going on at the moment.
100%.
Which is sort of unavoidable. Like that's first she gets into one car that is apparently too disgusting for her to stand, and then she goes to the cop car. I like the sort of distorted genie in a bottle music coming out of the first car she gets into.
Yeah, that really made me laugh.
The problem with the cop car is that they could reach her on the radio. It's so annoying. I would get out of that car. I'd be like, fucking stop talking to me.
I know. It really cracks me up, though. But yeah.
But when she gets back to her house, she finds that they're doing cleanup. And this is interesting to me because she's like, I didn't give you permission to go in my house. And they're like, well, you nodded when you were. So, like, they basically, mindlessly nodded when they asked her this question while she was in the ambulance with Zosha in a panic. And so it's not just that they're lawyering, they're also kind of sneaky about this stuff.
It's really... we started to talk a little bit about the consent issue of it all, and this totally feeds into for some people who, like we talked about last week, seem unable to really understand irony, sarcasm, but in terms of like gray morality.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're definitely okay with lying by omission and sort of seeing what they can slip by her in terms of the language they use. So there's a whole cleanup crew on her lawn, including the mayor.
The actual mayor.
The real mayor of Albuquerque.
I love it.
The way he delivers that line.
He's great.
Thank you for your vote. He's great. Yeah.
He's really
awesome.
Good.
But this whiteboard, so she goes inside and she's got this amazing like whiteboard set up in her office.
Jodie.
Double whiteboard.
First of all, the more I see of that house, the more obsessed I become with it. That whiteboard, double whiteboard, slides out, but it's also with this beautiful wood. It is.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
I would do anything for that one. Yeah. It is unbelievable.
I I looked a little bit at what she had on the first whiteboard about her new novel, but I didn't get into great detail. I know there's the freeze framers out there that, you know, I am one for Yellow Jackets, but haven't quite gotten there with this.
I'm the only reason that I paid more attention to it than just being like, oh, haha, is because the whiteboard with the scientists was so informative. It's stuff like, to me so far, it feels more character revealing. I was reading some folks being like, oh, this lines up exactly with what the plot in the movie is and the show is doing.
I saw that too.
And sure, in a way, like, but I don't think it's enough that it's telling us anything we don't already know.
I think we'll see. I mean, it's definitely, Vince Gilligan is not adverse to planting some secrets here and there.
But the thing that stuck out for me is she's really she wants to kill Raban real bad, because she's like, Raban dies for real this time, and then it says ask Val. Like,
I do think that there's probably some connections that we'll see as we go.
I think parallels, sure, but I didn't get the impression that you could read that whiteboard so carefully that you might be able to figure out what's happening next.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But so she slides that out of the way and starts writing down what she knows about the others.
I'm so glad she's a writer, because it's the only way I could justify this dumb list where it's like, well, she's a writer, so she really has to put everything down. She feels like she must.
Yeah.
Because it is.
No, 100%.
Do you have what she actually wrote in that list?
So she writes down what I know about them. Underline. Number 1, eager to please, would give me a bomb, ? Exclamation point. Number 2, can't kill, comma, not a fly. Number 3, don't play faves, comma, like all jerks, same. Number 4, I love her little accent marks. Number 4, 3 stars, trying to change me, underlined, 3 more stars. And then number 5, weirdly honest, ?
Yeah.
And this is when she decides to test that theory.
Right. And that trying to change me made me laugh when I saw it at first, because it's such a cranky teen thing to do. But you find out pretty clearly in the next scene why this is a little more, not a little more, this is maybe affecting her a lot more than it might somebody else.
I also noticed that when she first when she sees the first whiteboard, she goes like she's about to erase it, and then she stops herself. And I think that's it's interesting, because this is so soon after everything has happened. She's still kind of holding on to a lot of her past life.
Yeah.
She's still going to Sprouts and getting TV dinners. She's still, she doesn't want to get rid of entirely her plans for Waikaro number 5.
Right. A series she doesn't like writing. It's so she says.
Yeah, exactly. But so in order to test this theory, she needs a volunteer. Hey, Shorty.
Hey, Shorty. She says, she's so funny, because she says not a politician, even though she knows that they're all the same in there, but it's so totally for her benefit, like feelings wise, more than actual, because it's not like the politician isn't any better at being a politician now than Jeff Hiller is, than Larry is.
Right. But I think that she feels like, well, he looks like a regular guy. These are all one person, but the outer indicators that we're so used to using to like decide what type of people they are still affecting her.
Right. Exactly.
So she brings Larry inside in his bike outfit.
So much. I know we spent the last 3 weeks saying we love Jeff Hiller so much. He's just, I'm tearing up. He's everything to me.
Well, so this is from the official pod again, and if you've listened to it, then you've heard the story. But I just have to talk about when Ray Seahorn saw Jeff Hiller on set in that outfit, and they were talking about it, and he was talking about how it was like riding up, and it was hot, and it was uncomfortable, and apparently Vince Gilligan was walking by and stopped to kind of be like, yes, but they don't have any vanity anymore, they're this other being, and he walked away, and Jeff Hiller goes, but Jeff does. And it's like, poor guy, just stuck in that bike outfit.
It also, like, Are they not showering?
It seems like they are working with efficiency to complete all of these tasks that need to be completed before anything else changes.
Right.
Like, I don't think that this is an endless state that they're in. I think that they will at some point.
They're triaging right now.
Right. It's like this is this phase of this where we gather all the food and we get rid of the bodies and we turn off the lights and we consolidate everything and we prepare and all of that. And it feels like they're still in that phase.
And then they'll all have to schedule their showers very carefully so they don't use up all the water on one day or whatever. Like, but they'll have the most effective way to do that too.
Of course. Of course. Actually just wanted to make a quick note about something I found out about one of last week's episodes. Speaking of showering, this is what made me think of it. When Zosha gets off the plane and goes and showers and everything, the 3 people that are or 2 or 3 people that are in the bathroom that are giving her like the new clothes and everything are literally the costume designer, the makeup artist, and the hair person.
I love the use of crew to fill in roles like that. That's so fun.
Well, and from a weirdly practical standpoint, like this is one of the only semi-nude scenes that we have. It's like Zosha from the back, and it's like, well, who else is she going to be more comfortable with than the person dressing her?
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's cool. So I like that.
Anyway, I know that's jumping backwards, but I thought that was super interesting.
Yeah, I love that.
But so she brings Larry inside to sit face to face at her dining room table. You know, a one-on-one little test that she's developed to see if they can lie to her. And it is asking questions about her writing.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit sad because if she's asking these questions to find out if they can lie, she has a feeling
that this is
for
the truth.
The answers that she's about to get.
And there are other things she probably could have asked that might have gotten her to the same place, but wouldn't have been so like self-punishing, you know?
Well, she had to pick something that would be hard for them to say because it would hurt her.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Where they would get stuck in this like decision.
Yeah. But I think she picked maybe the hardest thing to hear.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was an interesting choice.
Yeah. We find out that they think her work is as good as Shakespeare. All of it.
I just think if they offered to bring me an original work of Shakespeare,
You'd put up with the rest of it?
I might put up with the rest of it a little bit. A little longer and a little better. Maybe better is not the right word. A little worse maybe than Carol's putting up with it, however you want to measure that. Like, I think I'd have some stuff to do before I started thinking about reversing it.
You like admire your copy of your original Shakespeare.
That's right.
Manuscript. But the reason this is so interesting is because like he sincerely says that they think her work is wonderful and equal to Shakespeare. And it's because it has touched some of them. And because they now have all of the memories and feelings, I guess, of everyone that is left, it's like a flattening, which is super interesting. It's like if it gave anyone comfort, it is worthy. And so taste is gone. Right. It's not about like, I saw someone on TikTok, I don't remember who, I'm sorry, but like say something about how as an artist, this just kill me because like art is dead. Like there's no art, there's no personal experience, there's no taste, there's no like value of expertise. It's all flattened.
Totally. Though I do wonder if Carol asks them like, make me a movie that you know I'm going to love, that is so perfectly for me. I wonder what that product would be. If it actually would be, or if it would be like, if I asked AI to do that, it would give me something, again, that would probably feel really empty and might have all the markers of the things I am interested in, but would have like no soul in it, you know?
Yeah. No, 100%. And I think that goes back to like the idea that, you know, her work that she doesn't think has much worth to them has just as much worth as some of the most important pieces of writing ever, because everyone's opinion matters the same amount now.
Right.
Right. And it's like kind of even.
I felt bad for, is it Moira? Is that the woman's name? Because now Moira, whatever is Moira, that individual knows now that Carol thinks she's crazy. And it doesn't really matter right now. But the thing I can't stop thinking about is what happens if this is all reversed. And maybe we save that also for later, but where I have to assume everybody will remember what it was like to be connected and what they...
Maybe.
I don't think there's
it's
a
so
memory.
hard to know. Yeah.
It's more interesting if they do hold on to all of that. But
I don't know how they're going to do any of that. Like,
I know.
if there is even a reversing, like what it's like. I mean, millions and millions of people have also died.
Right.
And the people that would be normally mourning them are these almost like zombie-like hive people. And so if they come back to themselves and their own human emotions,
dealing with what Carol has had to deal with alone,
80-something million of them have lost a loved one.
Yeah, it's
that's insane.
Crazy. It's funny to me that Helen, we learned that Helen thought the books were fine / meh, that they were cotton candy. And Carol is hurt by that. You can tell at least a little bit. Not
as hurt as by the next part.
Right. But even though she thinks that too, it's so funny that, like, is there a part of her that is like, was the first book in this series something she wrote really genuinely, thought it was good, saw the reaction, people love it, but maybe the audience that loved it wasn't the most, like, literary minded, or the actual reviews weren't, and now she's stuck with this. Because, like...
to me, it makes more sense if it's just the fact that even if she thinks that they're bullshit, essentially, like, there's still her skill set that she has honed and this thing that she has put all this time and effort into. And so, like, I think it's still kind of, like, hard to hear, but it's much harder to hear that your unpublished manuscript, that is your serious book, she never finished. And that she said that was harmless because she and Val, who we've not seen, like, discussed it without her. Yeah, the quote is, "It wouldn't hurt your career and it would make you happy."
Yeah, which, like, that sucks, but it's also like, that's,
it's not exactly a ringing endorsement, though.
But it is called Bitter Chrysalis, which to me is kind of all you need to know.
I know.
Carol might not be the best.
Maybe she's not that good of a writer.
Which I kind of like, actually.
But so there's this whole idea now of they can't lie to her. She goes back, she, like, writes, she gets rid of the weirdly honest and writes can't lie, like, definitively. And so she's decided she's going to go question them, or question Zosha, about whether or not it can be reversed. So she asks, and what she finds out really is that they're not going to confirm it, but they're also not going to deny it, which to Carol is a confirmation.
Right.
This is where we also get the Freedom Falls reveal.
Yeah, Carol got sent to conversion camp, which kind of gives us a lot of information, right? It's... we
wondered where the rest of her family is.
Yeah, no wonder it seems, not talking to her family, or at least isn't interested in figuring out what's, because my thought too is like, oh, what if they're also, we would know, I guess, but my thought would have been, if I were Carol, I think, oh, I'm immune. I wonder if they are too, like, there'd be not me, but I can imagine somebody having a desperate part of themselves hoping that their family was out there.
She finds out pretty quickly, though, right when she brings Helen home, that there's, like, only a certain number of people left and that they're not.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I just wonder if I'd be like, I still maybe need to check. You find out another reason why maybe she is less interested in hanging out with these people who are trying to convert her. And also why, because we talked about it last week a little bit, why she's so reluctant to come out to the general public when she was starting to figure herself out, as though she says, as a young person. Kind of one of the worst things that could happen to a young queer person happened to her. Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense.
And she talks about how they smiled just like you guys, you know? And so there's this idea that there's this facade of help and care and love that is hiding something really sinister, which, you know, is my feeling towards these people. But so she gets this thing in her head that she's going to like make them tell her how to reverse it using the classic writer's crutch, truth serum, which is so meta. It's like she's doing writer stuff to solve this. You know, like exactly it's a story.
I love that she's doing an okay job with this mystery of hers, but
but she's not great at it.
No. I think I really love how they're
she's relying on like what would a dime store mystery novel detective do? Truth serum. Yeah.
And so she tests it out on herself first.
Right. But I do want to point out that even in this heaviness, we are getting lots of moments of laughs, including her asking them for heroin in the pharmacy.
We find out she did heroin sophomore year of, I'm assuming, high school?
Or college, who knows?
College, but either way.
Yeah. But it's all a ruse to get the hypodermic needles. And she doses herself and tapes it. And this scene, so apparently when they were filming it, Rhea Seehorn had to do multiple takes that were like 10 minutes straight, and they just gave her the chunks, like different beats they wanted her to hit, and she just had to like tie it all together in between and just go.
I want all of it.
Release
I want to
see tapes.
All of it.
Apparently she sang Melissa Etheridge at the top of her lungs. She put on a sweater before she went to read the book and said, "I'm a professor." Like, I need to see all of it. They were amazed by the whole thing.
But the more I learn about her and get to hear her on the other podcasts, there are two definitive Pluribus podcasts right now, and it's the official one and ours, obviously.
Sure. Yeah.
So the other podcast, the more I love her.
But it was one continuous take only through the video cameras. They weren't filming through coverage. The one camera. No coverage.
I didn't really think about it, but that is all you get to see of it. A couple of important moments, her ugly crying over Helen.
And her reaction to watching that back. Where she kind of like acknowledges it and then moves on.
Yeah, because we haven't gotten to see her grieve in any big way. It's a lot of like, you know, the refusal to leave the body, burying the body, what she does in the next episode or the one after. Like, we've seen all of that, but not that active, like physical processing.
Yeah. Just grief without like the anger piece.
Yeah, exactly. And she reads from her book.
Yeah. She agrees with herself a lot. Like, the Carol on screen talks about how annoying they are, and she's like, yeah, someone else feels the same.
She says she's not that bad. That kind of broke my heart.
I know. She also complains about Zosha being so goddamn fuckable. And her reaction to that is like, oh shit.
Yeah. But like, I mean, we all knew that's how she felt, but
of course,
you know, good for her to have to face it.
It's really funny.
I watched a little mini, segment from, Michael Mosley, who's a BBC journalist. He passed away pretty tragically a few years ago. But he tested it out, sodium thiopental, and a pretty low dose. He was able to lie. They asked him what he did for a living, and his lie was supposed to be that he was a heart surgeon. And so he was able to say it. And then they upped the dose a little bit. And he was like, it's not that I couldn't lie. It's that it didn't occur to me to lie. Like, it's not that I was trying and couldn't. It's that they asked me what I did for a living, and I said I'm a journalist. And there's video footage of it.
the boundary between the thought and the saying.
That's exactly what it seemed more like.
Yeah.
It's not that like it like probably if it could have occurred to him to lie, he could have, but it just
right. Which makes sense with her, just sort of all of her sort of real thoughts that she kind of keeps under wraps, just kind of coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
that's really funny.
Mm-hmm.
So she decides to try it on Zosha and doesn't go as well. This is like you said, this is time number 3 that Zosha has a near-death experience. She wheels her outside, gives her the quote-unquote truth serum, and then starts to ask her how to undo it. And Zosha just, once again, starts to collapse. But then we get they call it the convergence in the writer's room. Yikes.
They talk so much about, like, we need them to look pleasant, but not crazed. We need it. That's not the exact word, but, like, we needed this to feel human, not robotic. We didn't want it to be, like, scary so much as unsettling. And I was unsettled.
This scene is where it tipped over a little into zombie apocalypse territory again, where they're all kind of coming towards, and they're all crying,
but very mechanically, like, because they're not, it's like their body.
They're not feeling the emotions of crying, but their body is producing tears.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird. And so they ask if they can save her, and Carol steps away. And they get out the AED machine, which, it's like, so we talked about this, not on the podcast, but basically Bob Odenkirk during Better Call Saul had like a massive heart attack, and they had to revive him on scene and use the AED machine and do chest compressions.
And Ray was there.
And Ray was there. And like the woman who like basically saved him with the AED machine is the same person who in this scene is about to do it to Zosha.
It's a little more impactful than the costume people in the last episode you were talking about, but it's cool.
Rosa Estrada. Mm-hmm. Yeah, wild. Yeah, they talked about that a little bit in terms of their kind of care around Ray in this moment, because she'd literally been through this with Bob Odenkirk. Mm-hmm. It was also apparently like just insanely hot for so many of these filming scenes. I feel like I would have collapsed regardless, but so the one thing I haven't heard anybody talk about this, and I don't know that it means anything, but it could just be like this show really pays a lot of attention to details, filming techniques, like the racking focus shots and things like that. But there's a scene, or there's a frame or two where the camera, they're all converging, they're about to kind of shock her, Carol's backing up, and the camera pulls up above them. And they're kind of formed in this weird shape. To me, it's like the shape of a key. That's probably way too, like, my brain making 17 leaps. But, like, there's something really interesting about the shape that they form when they raise up the camera.
That's interesting because there have been a few of these overhead. There's also, not necessarily overhead, but it reminded me of the Sprouts shot. When all the trucks are coming back and they're filling in these, like, big hive kind of, like, thinking
like
about
formations.
Yeah. And I didn't think about what the actual shape was, but do you know what else it made me think of?
What?
When we had the big discovery that the benches and stuff
when you had the big discovery of the really obvious thing that was just textual.
The discovery the discovery for me was that it's stupid, was that they act like it's a big discovery, but it is in fact not at all. And it reminded me of that. So we'll find out. Yeah. Maybe whatever formation they're making is so obvious. And is it the number one? A one kind of looks like a key.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
So
I've tried to find a picture of it, but I can't. Anyway, But that's where we end. So, when that episode ends, we don't know if Zosha actually survives.
Right. Yeah, I spoiled for episode 5, but...
Yeah, she does. Mm-hmm. She's back in the hospital. This episode, to me, this and the next episode feel like a pivot point.
Totally.
In a way.
Absolutely. Carol's finally crossed the line for them.
Yes, and they're going to punish her. Mm-hmm. It's like so silent treatment.
It's so just the most passive aggressive, especially because they can justify it by saying like if they want that, like she's a danger to them, you know?
She is able to harm them. Yeah, that's the thing.
And so
it's not nothing.
No,
but yeah. So they're back in the hospital. Lakshmi calls and is pissed off at her for making her son cry. I love that Lakshmi's whole role is just to be annoyed with Carol. Yeah. I do kind of wish there was a little bit more there, but maybe we'll get there.
Yeah, who knows?
But after I watched this the first time, I went back and rewatched, and you can see that they're acting differently towards her in a pretty significant way in the beginning of this episode. Like, I didn't catch it the first time, but they're not making eye contact with her. They're treating her sort of like they're keeping their distance more.
Yeah, she asks the first thing when she asks Zosha, or she asks one of the nurses if Zosha's going to be okay, and they just say like she'll be fine or whatever, and then they kind of like turn, kind of literally give her the cold shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah. And so she takes a nap in the waiting room in like the very bluest place that's ever been blue.
Hospital is
Everything is so blue. Yeah. There's a lot of this blue and yellow back and forth, like with Carol's yellow clothing and yellow jacket and the blue that's associated with the others, like Zosha's car being that same like sky blue color.
Mm-hmm. It looks like the Mirth-mobile from Wayne's World every time I see it.
Yes. Yes. But she falls asleep and we see another coordinated, orderly, montage of everybody leaving the hospital. Mm-hmm. Like literally evacuating quietly while she sleeps.
Yep.
Taking the patients with them, putting them in buses and ambulances. And
it's a ton of coordination for one person.
And it's all silent. Like that's the creepiness of it, I think, beyond the like coordinated movement that they've so carefully choreographed. It's the quiet. Mm-hmm. It's that they don't have to speak. They just all start doing it. Anytime
you see, and you get a little more of it in later episodes after this one, but just anytime you see like Carol leave a scene and they go back to like to just being silent and pleasant, it really is like, I'm like, I hope they're at least talking to each other. Well, there's not each other to talk to.
They're not.
Like, what do you think? Is there is it silent? Oh, well, this is also like,
we'll get to this with the next episode and the one after. But yeah, this sort of silent coordination is definitely creepy. Mm-hmm. I noted the music here was sort of holy sounding. It's a little bit like religious vibes.
Interesting.
But she wakes up and everyone's gone. And so she has to call them. And we get the first, but not the last,
it's really
recording of, what's his name? Patrick. What is his last name?
Hold on, I have it. Patrick Fabian.
Patrick Fabian, right. Who played Howard Hamlin on Better Call Saul. Mm-hmm. And is the perfect voice for her to hear over and over again. It's like polite, but also passive aggressive.
It's really good.
It's not about you, it's about me. We just need a little space.
Fun little backstory. They didn't tell Ray that was going to be the voice on the phone. And they thought it would be like a fun prank, but instead she didn't react, but did recognize his voice. They, ended the scene and immediately was like, is that Patrick?
He's a professional.
What a professional.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's great. And we hear it quite a bit going forward. I like that it's just a little bit too long. Like, it reminds me so much, especially her reactions to it as time goes on, of like trying to get a customer service human.
Totally.
Through a multi-phase, like, recorded menu. Mm-hmm. Good God.
They really did figure out the exact right length where they could justify making us listen to it over and over again, too. But not,
Yeah, it's just a bit annoying. Too long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But this is when we realize that they've just like, or she realizes really that they've all left her or are leaving at that moment.
She goes up to the roof and gets to see the exodus as it's occurring. Which
at first I think her reaction is, you know, well, fuck you guys. Great. I'm going to like not have to deal with you anymore. Fantastic. You know, it does also feel a little bit like the beginning of a new phase for her where they've left her. So now she can kind of poke around without them bothering her, you know? And so we get, you know, the beginning of Carol's caper.
That's right.
And she does her first recording. These recordings are like, it's so funny. They're so different depending on who's watching them and when.
Yeah.
Like she puts on makeup. She kind of cleans up behind her in the image. So there's no bottles or whatever.
It's her like Independence Day speech video, this one.
Right. Yes, 100%. The self-importance that she has around this role that she's decided she's going to fulfill of saving the world. It feels very like she's overconfident.
Yes. Yeah.
About what she's capable of.
And also that she assumes, even having met like all of the other English speakers at least, the assumption that everybody is going to be on board and feels the same way about it as she does.
Yeah, she's the default.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so basically, she starts doing these recordings and is very careful. It's so interesting. She's so careful about the language she uses and the way she words things. Like she says, like, you have to transcribe what I say and translate it for everyone word by word or word for word. And like, I think she thinks that she's almost outsmarting them.
Yeah.
And I don't think she is.
No, I don't think so either. Because as you know, we know they are way more in touch and communicating with the unjoined way more than Carol does.
Yeah, it seems like she's kind of a nuisance and she's also extremely important to them. It's a little bit of both. But I don't think that she's fooling them in any real way.
No, I don't think so at all. But she's got the use of drones starts in this episode.
This got an out loud laugh from me. Not this
so
part, but
funny.
the next part with the drone. Yeah.
Yeah. So
because I thought this was so interesting. So like she goes outside with this tape or with this whatever to send it, the SD card. And she thinks a person's going to come get it.
Yeah.
She's kind of waiting to see. Yeah. And then it's the drone. And you can a little bit see her just be like, oh, they're not even going to. Like, it's both an acknowledgement that, like, her emotions are a threat to them. And also then, which she knows and continues to use. Like, she's like, you know, it would make me happy if you did this. But also, I think she's realizing that, like, they really meant it. Like, they're really gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the drone picks it up. We also get the introduction of the wolves fucking with her trash.
Beautiful wolf dogs.
Yeah, I love that she thinks a golf club is going to do it. I would not go outside with a golf club if what I thought were wolves, which apparently are wolf dogs, were eating my trash.
Yeah, they're supposed to be wolves. I just think they're a lot harder to work with than wolf dogs.
For sure.
There's a wolf dog sanctuary in Jersey. I think there are a couple, but there's one called Howling Woods in Jackson that is incredible. And you can go visit and meet some of the dogs that get hired out for movies and stuff. And you get to do a pack howl with them. And it was
really cool.
The greatest moment of my entire life. So shout out to Howling Woods in Jackson, New Jersey. You get to pet the wolf dogs. Some of them will give you a kiss.
I would.
So let me know.
I'd be into that.
Yeah. Let me know next time you're in Jersey, Jodie. We could go to Jackson. Go see the wolf dogs.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Anyway.
Yeah. I think of this episode as such a turning point for her, though, because like they leave her alone. And not only does she start to play detective more, but she also is now like facing her grief a little bit more because she doesn't have the distraction of these people around. Like she sleeps in her own bed again for the first time. There's like a sense of, in the next episode or later in this one, actually, a sense of actually acknowledging the loss that she's had in a more human way because she's by herself.
Right, exactly. And it also has to deal with the reality of like whether the hive mind is whatever, feel however you want about them, you kind of can't do all of this alone. You do need their help.
Yeah, there's a lot of reality checks here where like she thinks that she can get by with just asking them to do the very basic things like fill a sprouts. But it turns out that the animals are still there.
Yeah. I want to talk about the animals probably later, but I just want to put a pin in the fact that there's a lot of stuff like the fact that they freed them all from the zoos early on. At the time I was like, why? Why would you do that? And not that the wolf dogs are from the zoos, but there's just some weird animal stuff in general in this show.
I think there is too.
The way the wolves are behaving is because it's also not, I mean, now it's because her neighborhood is abandoned, but it's not like in other zombie movies and stuff where so much of the population is down that nature's taking back over. The earth is still heavily populated.
Right.
So it's
not a COVID, nature is healing.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's
no,
just
I do think there's more of that coming up for sure. But after the wolves, I died. After the wolves, she like calls them and says, I need a trash pickup. And because they will not come to her anymore, it has to be a certain weight for the drone to take it. She kind of holds it in her hand for a second. It's like, it's fine.
It's like me on the way to the airport praying that when I put my suitcase on the scale. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But that drone trying to pick it up and then wrapping itself around the lamppost. And I literally laughed out loud.
Truly
it's very
laughed
silly.
Out loud. They do. I like felt for the drone, and like it looks so defeated when it. Yes. It also reminded me of, which I don't think we talked about, but when Carol has the little freak out on her way to the hospital, I think, and there's the guy hanging from the cherry picker, and she's trying to, before everybody wakes up, I think it's back in the first 3 episodes, and she's trying to maneuver it, and it's just dragging his body again. Just the like really dumb slapstick humor in the show that is also very much about like free will and consent and grief. Yeah. It's my favorite thing.
No, it's very silly.
Holding these things up against each other. I really cackled at that. Poor little
and the
drone.
Comedic timing of like, she watches this happen and then there's a pause just long enough for the trash falling out onto the ground to be another beat that is hilarious.
So good.
It's also another moment where they're playing around with cameras and having a good time because you see like one of the things that lands on the ground is the cloche and then you see the reflection in it. Like there's a lot of cloche work in these episodes.
So much.
A lot of cloche references.
In the show, obviously. But
yeah,
from like a bunch of different angles, you know?
But this is why I say it feels like a caper because it's like one thing leads to another, right? The wolves lead to the trash, lead to the drone, lead to her having to try to find a place to throw out this trash in town, to finding all of the milk cartons.
Another slapsticky bit where she falls headfirst into a dumpster.
Well, before that, she tries to put a cloche in the trash and it doesn't fit. And then she tries to put it in the recycling and it doesn't fit. And yeah. But yes, she falls into a dumpster.
I love that she's kind of goofy. She's so self-serious in a lot of ways. And then also is just kind of a doofus. I love it so much.
It reminded me of like old detective shows where like she's lifting up the scene from inside the dumpster of her lifting up the lid of the dumpster and she's silhouetted against the sky and it's the like yellow and blue again. Like it's a little bit like it's both like very highfalutin conceptual ideas and it's also very Naked Gun in some way.
Yeah, it's really confident though, I think, for the show. Like you really have to be secure in what you're doing to be able to play like that and not have it feel like, I don't know, like I don't know what the word is, but like gimmicky or I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't feel confused as to what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
But she realizes that the only thing in any of the trash cans are these milk cartons, which is like another sort of sinister but brightly colored, you know, poppy I think that there's something worse about sinister things that happen in brightly colored, cheerful looking ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she goes to the dairy to investigate and finds two things that are both gross to me. One is the liquid that's coming out of one of the nozzles, which looks like oil. Mm-hmm. And then the other is the bags of white powder being picked over by crows.
Yeah.
Or ravens.
Some sort of flock of animals.
Some sort of harbinger of death.
Yep.
Yeah. Disgusting. But this is, again, we're continuing this caper vibe because she comes home and pulls out like her pH test for her pool and like whatever she can find that might give her some scientific feeling of like investigating.
It really feels like she says a little later, I think maybe in the next episode, but she refers to like, I can come up with writer shit. Like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
You just really see her. She's doing the best she can with the knowledge she has.
Which is not a lot.
No. But it doesn't seem like she realizes that. She really thinks she's like, first of all, that there's some huge conspiracy and that she's about to crack it through her brilliant, like.
Which is also kind of true. Like, there is a huge conspiracy that she's about to crack.
I mean, it's not really a conspiracy, though.
No, but she doesn't know that it is true.
It's a conspiracy for one person.
For one person, yeah.
But only because she can't hang with everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
my favorite line of this whole part is she's reporting. She's filming another video. She's reporting her findings. And she has discovered that it has a neutral pH of 7.1. And she says, you know what else is neutral? Celery. And water. It's like, that means literally nothing, but great.
It reminds me, it's like me in an escape room. It's like everything is a clue, but none of it is helpful. And yeah, she's so funny.
I also noted here, she's getting better at controlling her affect because she deletes her first recording where she gets really frustrated and does it again, where she sounds more like approachable. Which
is interesting because the only reason that seems to be happening is because of how she's like more aware
of how people are reacting to her.
Because of these not outside, I mean, outsized from what is typical reaction of the others.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think that there's also a part of her that is like, you know, I met these other 5 people and then they all left and didn't want to hang with me. And so that's also in the back of her head somewhere.
But maybe being forced to recognize that maybe it's like that. It's like
that even the people that aren't people can't hang with her.
If you think everyone's an asshole,
maybe you're the asshole.
Yeah. It's like it's never occurred to her before. But watching literally the entire city of Albuquerque leave.
Just because they can't deal with her.
Yeah, is maybe starting to help her understand that a little better. But just to jump ahead a little bit, like what you were saying earlier of like, you know, it doesn't seem like she's outsmarting them, because watching this at first, before we get to the next episode, I was like, how are they dealing with the fact that she's about to send all this information to these other people, and
this theoretically shocking information that, you know, she ends up in this warehouse and finds like
something.
Well, we're going to talk about it in 3 seconds. We can say she, you know, she lifts up the tarp and is horrified. And we, in the week in between episodes, we're like, what? It has to be people. It has to be. Nothing else is that shocking.
Yeah. And it's funny because I was talking to you and I was like, I couldn't decide if I was going to be annoyed or not, but it is like the show, this really helps kind of crystallize for me what the show, not that we were struggling with what the show is really about. I think we knew, but that like the shock is for Carol because, like we just said, she's out of the loop. And so I like that they leave it on a cliffhanger for almost more for us. Carol, like for Carol, but like knowing what it's going to be. And that reveal isn't shocking for us. And I don't think it's really played in the next episode as if we're supposed to be shocked at that point. It's like
it is at first, because it's basically Blair Witch at first.
Well, I love The found footage.
The found footage moment.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They keep that illusion up until Carol, like for the audience, they keep that illusion up until it's broken for Carol. It's broken for us at the same time.
But do you think, I don't think they thought they were hiding what the reveal was going to be, unless what they were hoping we would do, which is what I was sort of doing, is being like, well, it can't be that obvious. There's something else going on. And then I talked myself into, like I said to you before the episode aired, like it's got to be that. And actually it raises different questions that I'm more interested in, really.
See, I felt like it had to be that, and I was disappointed that we were going to get that big of a reveal, like that it was that sort of thing that's been done before. And they got me. I went down that whole rabbit hole of like, oh, come on. All right. It's people, Soylent Green, blah, blah, blah. And then they did to me in the next episode,
what happens
like
to
same
Carol?
thing that happens to Carol.
Yeah,
where
it's like, really cool.
They take the drama right out of it. Before we move on to the last episode, I do just want to put a note here that, again, Carol, like I was saying about the beginning of this episode, is starting to, because she is alone, actually grieve.
Right.
Like the wolves start digging at Helen's grave. She goes get those pavers. And not only does she cover up the gravesite with an insane amount of paving stones that take up half her yard, but then she goes inside and paints a gravestone.
Yeah.
And that is an acknowledgement, I think, in a way that we haven't seen her really do.
And it's so human.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's human. She paints it like she could have told them, please make a big mausoleum for my wife and you know, a big tombstone and with this on it and that on it. And instead she hand paints something.
Yeah, it's really
and just
beautiful.
Places it there.
And it's I almost said fun juxtaposition. That is not the right word, of what is happening with all of the other dead bodies on the planet. We find out
there's
in the next
one precious
episode.
dead body in her backyard. And then there are, as we were about to find out, not only bodies, but literally, this was the horrifying part for me, was it's not that it's bodies.
No, yes.
It's the butchering.
The methodical
shrink-wrapped,
butchering and processing, yes.
Yes. Shrink-wrapped efficiency.
Yes.
Of all the body parts wrapped and ready to go.
And they don't show it, but you can picture the hive placid, smiling vaguely, and just throwing bodies into whatever processing machine.
Yeah, because she talks about the giant meat grinder, but we don't see it. Yeah. Yeah, so that next episode starts with the found footage moment, and we see the shrink-wrapped body parts. Also, just a fun note for those that don't listen to the official pod.
Fact so far.
Yeah, the head that Carol picks up is a model of Vince Gilligan's head. It's his little Hitchcockian, hey, I'm in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Nod.
Really
there's
good.
another one later that's not actually in the show that I love too. But I thought it was so interesting. So she makes this big discovery and it's like the game is on. She drives home. She thinks she's going to make a video. She makes the video and then she realizes she doesn't want to put this in the mail.
Right.
And she remembers Diabate saying that he was going to be at the Elvis Suite in Vegas.
At the Westgate Hotel.
At the Westgate Hotel, which is where Elvis died.
Yeah.
Like it's a monument to excess and the trappings of celebrity and what can happen, how it can poison itself over time.
He doesn't go to Graceland, which he also could have done.
Yeah, he goes to the place where the excess caught up with Elvis.
Diabate is so interesting. You get so much about
This is such
him.
a great Diabate episode.
I love it so much.
So we're on episode 6 now, HDP. And like, so there's a couple things. So it's, instead of mailing the tape or the card, she gets in the car, packs everything up, leaves the house, realizes, shit, there's human body powder all over my rug, goes to vacuum that up, then leaves. And the drive to Vegas, that shot of her coming into empty Las Vegas is so intense.
It was so cool to hear them talk about it too.
Yes.
There is some, uncanny seeing Vegas emptied out is.
Yeah. it reminded me a lot of, there's a photographer, might be Thomas Struth, who did a series where he did these extremely long exposures of busy cities. Mm. And the longer the exposure, the more the people disappear. Right. And so it's like, you know, Tokyo or Seoul or like these crazy, huge, busy cities that look like Vegas in this show, but it's just that he had such a long exposure that the people were moving and they didn't exist anymore because of the blur.
That's so crazy. That's really cool. It is unsettling to see it so empty. We keep saying, go listen to the podcast. It's so cool to hear them talk about how they did all of this. It's kind of like almost like a cut and paste job because number one, they did it on location. So that was the first thing is the director of this one being like, how are we going to do Albuquerque empty Vegas. As Vegas? But no, they did it there and just like I was picturing, I don't know if they say this or if this is just like the Google Maps car basically it's like what they did so that they could cut and paste each empty.
Right.
I was thinking I would love that job of like marking the footage of where each segment is empty.
Yeah. Just like I would love the next part, which is the set deck of Diabate's. So the next creepy part of this, though, is that we see the welcome carol on we know that they know what she's doing.
Yeah.
But it's a reminder that they're watching her every move.
She's always surveilled, always.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what I mean, too, is that, like, are they as unaware or, because my first thought was, like, they have to know she doesn't want that. That, like, but then I'm like, but it is a reminder for her. Like, how clueless are they really?
Yeah. I think we're going to find out a lot more about that level of understanding, maybe, hopefully, by the end of the season. Because she goes inside and there's literally like another lit up screen with instructions as to where to meet Diabate. She goes up to the suite and like, before she gets up there, we see this insane Casino Royale, like James Bond homage that there's so much more going on than I even saw the first time I watched it.
I know I didn't catch
the impersonators
until the second time through. Yeah.
There's like a Bob Dylan impersonator, an Elvis impersonator, all sorts of other like Breakfast at Tiffany's. Yeah. There's all sorts of 60s like characters. And everyone is in character as if they're in a Bond movie.
He's playing the Sims in real life, which is I've been joking about it as if I'd be totally fine with all of this, and obviously I wouldn't. It's more fun to play as if I might, but I think the worst version of me, I think, would have a little bit of this, where I'd be like, fly me to Hawaii, bring back all the actors from Lost. We're going to act out season 1. You're all going to be my living dolls. Right. And then after that, then I'll start working on figuring out what the fuck to do about all of this.
So, basically, he is acting out a scene from some generic James Bond, a little Casino Royale, a little couple of others. He's got the white tux on. He's at the poker table. Yeah, there's this long tracking, like, water shot that goes all the way through the crowd of people. Another thing I didn't notice the first time, but did the second, is, like, the waitress that we're following with the drinks. She's having these interactions with people like she knows she's on camera, where she'll see someone and be like, oh, here's a drink, da-da-da. Every time she looks away from a person before she looks at the next person, her face kind of goes dead.
It is.
It's so subtle, but it's like it mirrors what happens after the end of this scene where they finish this poker game where Diabate like pulls a royal flush over the other player's straight flush. And like they finish the scene with like a very cliched moment of like, well, get you next time, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes off to the hot tub with some ladies and everyone's face just drops.
Yeah.
And they start cleaning up like robots. And it is so unsettling.
It's so unsettling. And it also, like, made me kind of think of realize that so much of how we behave outward is for other people, is for connection. It's the way that, like, we were just talking on, well, it won't be out until next month, but on This Helps, about how the fact that, like, we don't laugh as much when we're by ourselves as we do, and not for any, like, sad reason so much as that, like, I don't know, there's just, like,
it's a communal
something
activity.
yeah, exactly. And they just have no need for it.
And for that reason, like, when the action stops and Diabate leaves with the women, I think as human beings, or at least for me, my expectation was that they would start to clean up, but that they would, like people would, kind of interact with each other in that process and be like, have a little bit of like that was funny, you know, nothing. Dead silent robot workers.
I think it's the most stark version of this we've seen so far too, especially because there's so many of them and it was so heightened before this. That's
the thing. It's that difference is much stronger.
Yeah, and it's funny they saved it until 2/3 of the way through this season for us to really get the sort of like Stepford Wivesy kind of most unsettling version of it so far.
Yeah, it's extremely unsettling. So he goes to the hot tub with his ladies. Again, consent issues. None of this was consensual, but now it's getting like the interview with Samba, the actor that plays Diabate, was interesting to me because of how they said that this was the hardest part to cast, because he had to be somehow still likable while doing all of these things that on the surface and just are like gross.
Yeah, this is not to excuse the behavior, but you do get the impression that, like, he really thinks that, you know, when he asked back in the second episode, like, have I done anything, you know, is any of this affection unwanted, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think he really believes that he's not doing anything wrong because they say it's okay. Like,
and I think that he maybe thinks they have more free will than they do, because he does ask, like, when he's going off to the hot tub, he asks who wants to come with him.
Right.
Acting like they aren't just doing this because they have to please him.
It seems like he really thinks that they could say no, and I believe that if they said no, he would honor that, even knowing that he could make them.
There's an innocence, I think, to him.
I'm really curious about his backstory. I hope we get to learn some more.
Yeah, because this is like, somehow he is in this moment in the hot tub with all of these women, weirdly charming and unoffensive while also doing something that's like blatantly offensive.
Yeah, like when the cleaning lady comes in, who Joette, who is less conventionally beautiful, and he invites her in anyway and seems genuine about that too. And you sort of think that she's gonna feel, it's so funny how much
not gonna feel anything.
No, but for me, I guess it's funny how much I, for 1 second, over and over again, start projecting of like,
all
how
the time.
And then you have to be like, oh no, wait, she's the same as those women in the hot tub in her eyes and all their eyes. They're all the same. There's no and so
but instead of getting in the hot tub, Joette realizes, nope, we gotta go. Carol's on her way. Everyone get out. He's gonna have a visitor. And I think by the just by the fact that everyone has to clear out, he knows it's Carol.
Right.
Because we've, one of the big points of this whole episode is we realize how much more contact the others have had with each other. Not the others, but like the
unjoined,
have with each other and with the altered whatever people. And so there's so much more communication, whether it's accurate or not. There's a lot more communication going on that Carol's not privy to.
That's right.
Yeah. So they all leave. And Carol's on a mission. She's going to let Diabate know.
She's so ready to finally turn things around, to get Diabate and then everybody else on board.
I've never seen anyone pop a balloon more effectively than him just be like, Are you talking about them eating people? It is disturbing.
Again, I also believe him there.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I just think, yeah.
He is willing to hear everyone out, I think.
Yeah.
In a way that
right.
is maybe not great.
Well, and it does sort of, I really kept struggling with this because obviously I don't think we should be eating people. No. But the argument that we get from John Cena, it really does come down to taboos. Like,
well,
I mean, we don't because we don't. I mean, we don't because, before you could process all of your food through cool factory like that, it was much more dangerous.
You get prion disease.
Yeah, exactly. And
like,
so
there are reasons that are, I think, probably pretty embedded in our DNA as to why we don't, because it's dangerous to us.
But it's technically not dangerous the way they're doing it now. And
as John Cena so helpfully explains in his infomercial that he is making.
The way I laughed when John Cena showed up.
Perfect.
Well, and I it's funny too that it's him because of the bear when he popped up there. And like, I thought that was funny, but I rubbed up against it in a way that was a little different. And it's like the bear kind of
weirdness is the point.
Yeah. And I don't think the bear, or I guess there's just something.
The bear was trying to convince us that John Cena fit into that role in some way, even though it was a little awkward. And here it's the idea that it's John Cena is the funny part.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, Vince Gilligan said, like, we just thought who better than John Cena to make palatable the idea of eating human flesh, He also had no idea necessarily what the speech was about when he gave it. Like, because everything was so secretive about it. Like, Jeff Hiller didn't know the whole story when he was filming his scene. John Cena didn't know what was going on.
Hilarious.
And so, they wanted him partly because he just could make it seem so reasonable. Like, he's such an approachable character.
It worked.
But one of my favorite fun facts about this episode is that they did not have this footage when they filmed Carol reacting to it. And so the reaction she has is actually to the screen coming up, and it actually is Vince Gilligan reading John Cena's lines.
And if you're not listening to the podcast, or if you've never heard a Vince Gilligan interview, you really, maybe I'll drop.
He's such a charming man with a cute accent.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of like Dino DNA. It's like what I was picturing.
Yeah. So he explains, that they'd rather not be doing this.
Of course.
It's about 8 to 12% of those drinks is human-derived protein.
I was kind of like, that's less than I would have guessed.
I know. It may end up being more after they, run out of apples that have fallen off of trees because they can't even pick an apple. They can't kill plants. This is where we realize that, like, there is more, like, the idea that we originally had from this alien virus, that its goal was, or whatever, if a virus can have a goal, but the what it was doing was creating a better society where everyone is in sync with each other. There's no wars, blah, blah, blah. So you think, so everyone will have food and everyone will be cared for. No, they're going to go extinct in 10 years because they can't kill anything.
Right.
Like, there's just not enough ways to feed everybody. And everyone is going to starve to death.
Yeah, and maybe that's actually, like, it's starting to feel like maybe they literally can't kill anything for some reason, but they still want everything to die, maybe.
To die. Yeah. I mean...
Because they're acting as if they're... distressed by this and want there to be some other
but also, like, it's one of those, you're so adherent to these very specific rules that you're not seeing, like, it's one of those, like, if you can, it's the trolley problem, right
yeah,
it's the whole, like, do you save one person or do you save this number of people? It's like, well, do you not harm an apple but kill 100 million people because they can't eat? Like, there's no logic in terms of humanist logic of like caring for people, even though they theoretically, the beauty of this is that they are all one now and it's peaceful and everyone is happy. I don't know how happy you can be while starving to death.
Yeah. It's like when they say they can't hurt a living thing. And
that's
Carol's
not true.
Like, but like, right. But like, what they can't do, as far as we know, is hurt a living thing through action. But I'm also like, what do they mean by can't? Could they literally not make the choice to pick an apple? Like, is that physically and whateverly impossible for them? Or is it just that the math they do is so strict? You know, like...
Well, it's the absurdity of semantics, right? It's like you can't hurt something, but you can let people starve to death, which is not hurtful.
No, and I would, you know...
And you can kill 11, however many million people died, 80-something, 800-something million people that died when the joining happened. You can't hurt people, but they can die. Like, it's semantics. And it's the absurdity of that distinction. But
and we kind of hear that played out because she and Diabate are talking about this, and he's like, yeah, we've been trying to come up with solutions, like...
Which is so sad. Because, like, he and the other survivors are still seeing these people as some sort of human version of what they know as human. And also, they're not at all questioning, like, maybe these people aren't these peace-loving, innocent, like, utopians. Maybe there's something else going on. Like, they're trying to, quote-unquote, save something or some, you know, hive mind, whatever, that probably just wants them to also assimilate or die.
Right.
Like, it's very... it feels very naive to me. And also they're not including Carol in the Zooms, which is sad for Carol.
Man, does she break my heart when she figures out that he
doesn't want her to stay, or...
And he's so, like, yeah, because, okay, like, the breakfast scene, everything about it is perfect.
I know.
Because she wakes up, and he's so sweet, and he's made breakfast for both of them, and then she makes her little open-faced sandwich, and he's like...
Her avocado toast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he's just kind of like, oh, that's interesting. And he does the same thing, which is...
Everything about it is it's the distinction between a human interaction and a non-human. Like, they've provided her with the best food that, you know, they can possibly recreate from these amazing meals that she's had in the past, or they're offering to do that. And he makes her simple toast, eggs, and avocado. And it's so much more... like real and human and and then that he experiences her doing something and is like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's surprisingly good to him, you know?
It's just so sweet. And then, while she's still asleep, the other thing that breaks my heart is he gets on the phone and he says, like, he's clearly like, what's happening is he's asking if she can be invited to the Zooms or whatever, or talking asking them to come back.
Yes, I thought it was him asking the hive to come back.
Yeah. But either way, like, and he just says, like, she's so lonely. And oh man, does that break my heart.
But also he's kind of like not messing around in terms of, like, he's saying things to her like, it's not about you. Like, that what's going on is not about you, and that that you didn't invite the non-English speakers to the first meeting was offending them. And exactly.
He's kind of perfect, other than
all of the other stuff.
But just, like, as a person, like, I love how he is kind to her, but doesn't sugarcoat any of that, but also doesn't when she says, like, she's so abrasive in that scene where she's like, oh, I'll find my own suite, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, doesn't even consider that he might have other plans. And then he doesn't want to hurt her by saying he doesn't want her there, but she is kind of a buzzkill, so he doesn't want her there. And then her pivot of not because she could have played it angry. She could have been like,
yeah,
she could have snapped at him and been like, oh, you don't care about like fixing things,
right.
blah, blah, blah. But she's like embarrassed.
Yeah.
And
also, I don't think that it's that he doesn't want her there because she's a buzzkill necessarily. I think he finds her kind of interesting to be around. I think it's because as long as she's there, they're not coming back.
Yeah.
His fun time is over. Mm-hmm. It's either her or the rest of this like troupe that he's hired to play actives every fantasy. Mm-hmm. And he still would prefer that to one kind of cranky white lady from Albuquerque.
Kind of fair.
Yeah, exactly. But so again, this whole next bit of him revealing all of this stuff to her that he's learned about how like they have a way to make them join, but they need their stem cells and they can't do that because it's painful unless they have permission. And it really feels like they have been given the illusion of control by this hive, but it seems so silly to me for them to think that they actually have this control.
Right.
Like, that there's not going to be some lawyerly way around this.
It's totally what you said about semantics earlier. It is exactly that. And the show is really careful about the wording too. Like when Carol tells them I don't consent and they say the wording,
we won't take them from your body.
And we know, okay, I know the buzz about all of this is Carol mentioned offhandedly that she froze her eggs. And you can't get stem cells from eggs. But from that embryos, was from embryos, rather. That was the first like layer of people solving this mystery of that's how they're going to do it. But you could fertilize, like grow that egg into, but then you'd have to.
But also
hurt that.
If you are someone who, but if you're someone that's gone through fertility treatment, which I am not, but if you are, it's not just that the eggs are there. I'm sure you've gone through tons of other testing and tissue samples and all sorts of stuff.
That's
like
true.
There is Carol's DNA material somewhere that not just the eggs themselves. Like there is a way, I think, I'm not a scientist, but it's not just that her eggs are out there. I think it's the fact that she has all of this other medical experience. She even casually drops at one point when she's taking Zosha out, like that she knows how much it sucks to be in hospitals. And that was something that pricked for me. I was like, I mean, I know that there's the fertility stuff, but does that mean anything? Like,
I think as far as I know from people I know who've gone through fertility treatments, you don't spend a ton of time.
Exactly. In hospitals. So that's why I'm like, why is there something else happening?
My little pet theory is not the right word because I think this is maybe pretty obvious and I don't know what we would do with any of this, but is that the show wants us thinking there's something like that going on so far. But we, at this point, don't know why Carol is immune or the other people. And I don't know a ton about how you make vaccines. But I can imagine that that having that out there, like...
I think that there's something that they want to learn from these, from the fact that there are these 13 people. Like, she's like a bug in the soup and they're like trying to figure it out. Yeah,
so I could see them going to, which again, is still a consent thing. Like, you shouldn't be able to start messing around with people's frozen eggs because, like,
I feel like we are going to discover that all of this semantics is going to go out the window if they have a way to work around whatever
they're just trying to keep her
said.
Especially because they know if she gets angry enough,
she
could really do some real damage.
Yeah. And I also wonder then if it's just her or if all 13 of them got super angry.
Right.
Like, what would that do?
Yeah, I have to imagine that
it's not just Carol.
It's not just
Yeah. It's just that the rest of them aren't angry.
Right. And so, yeah.
Although Manusso's, well, we'll get to it. But anyway, so basically, she decides to leave because she doesn't want to feel unwanted. As they're going outside, we see a nice shot of all of the Lamborghinis or whatever, or Ferraris, whatever the hell they are, that he has stacked up for himself, one per day of the week.
I like that.
She gets back in her cop car.
Yeah. Everything you need to know about both of them right there.
Yep. And he says, there's a couple of lines here where he's like trying to argue for the hive a little bit. He's like, they want to come back. They're just looking for a change of heart, and basically she says things like, fuck them, tell them to pick a fucking apple. Like, she keeps having these like knee-jerk reactions and then trying to like tamp them down so that he doesn't think she's an asshole.
Right.
Like, she is trying to smooth things over in some way at least with him.
Yeah. But she's tough, but I feel for her. Like, there's just a lot.
So much loneliness.
Yeah. Especially for someone who was probably pretty lonely to begin with, when it seems like all she really had was Helen.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
This is where we kind of end with her in this episode, and we go back, finally, to Manousos. This is, again, there's a caper happening, and I am here for it. And so is he. He's like...
Yeah, it's cool to see him, we don't see much here, but, like...
Yeah.
You see he gets energized.
Well, he gets energized by... This is the thing that's so cool about this part. So, like, we've got these, like I said in the beginning, these different levels of reactions to the hive, right? Diabate, Manousos, Carol. He is still, when we come back to him, in his little cave, going through the radio frequencies... He gets to the last frequency, he doesn't find anything, and he comes back to the only time he heard anything slightly different, which was like 8163 point something, which apparently is some kind of maritime mobile band in real life. He hears some sort of sound. He gets another food drop, but this time he has Carol's tape.
Right.
And he watches Carol's tape in a totally different way than we have watched it and that everyone else has watched it. He's like, I've got a compatriot. I've got a mission now. He finds out for the first time that there are 12 other people.
Yeah.
Like, this is news to him.
It is a real lesson in context. If I were teaching writing, and still I would be showing that like how you receive information matters as much as the information itself, because he's in her Independence Day movie in a way that nobody else is.
And it's drawing these parallels at different times. So like, he is suddenly inspired and motivated and having his Independence Day moment. He goes home to pack, just like she packed to go to Diabate and share her information. He's packing for his journey to go to her. And it's like...
And if she had gone to him with the information about them eating people...
He would have the reaction that she was expecting.
Yep, totally.
Yeah. And so he goes home to grab some food. I will say right now, I'm not eating anything that's been in the fridge for 9 days.
I know.
I throw things out before their expiration date because I get so weirded out about it.
I'm the same way. I live with someone who will, like, fast and loose. And they eat meat. And so they're like... Like, I'll see them go to make a sandwich, and I'll be like, that turkey's been in the fridge for like a week. What are you doing?
Not happening.
No.
It gets a tiny bit too close to the expiration, and I'm like, that's probably bad.
Yeah, I'm the same way. People don't take food poisoning seriously enough.
I know.
People die from food poisoning. Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, nope, not doing it. I'm not eating anything from that fridge.
No, that's my PSA for the day.
Yeah. But he packs up, I also noted when he walks into the house, there's a photo on the wall of like, that looks older, of like a man and a young boy, like looks like maybe him and his father. I love those little hints of backstory. I'm like, tell me more. But yeah, the music is like rising. It's this like hopeful, like motivated music. He takes out some food. He goes out, gets his car, and we meet again. Which we find out here is his mother.
Is his mother, of course.
Yes. They'd used his actual mother, not someone who looked like his mother.
I guess I just didn't think about it long enough to be like, why wouldn't it be his mother? But it also feels kind of diabolical to like send his the body of his actual mother to him. That's tough.
And she
gross.
has been provided. This is why I say, like, we don't know how much the hive knows about him.
Right.
If it's as much as they know about Carol, because if they knew a lot about him, they wouldn't have sent his mother.
No.
Because according to Manousos, my mother was a bitch.
Yeah,
And so,
you're not my mother.
Yeah.
It's so funny because, like,
Yeah.
yes, and it also reveals that, like you said,
my mother was a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm like, maybe they know less about him because they would have sent someone more that would have actually appealed.
Yeah, he's also the last one they found out about. They say like we just discovered,
and he kept himself so secretive from them that they couldn't learn anything new.
Yeah.
So his car stalls immediately, which doesn't give us a lot of hope considering he's in Paraguay and has to drive over 4,000 miles through, which we will talk about the speculation at the end of this. But he gets in the car. We hear The Doors, People Are Strange, a cover of it in, I think, French.
I think so. There are a couple of, reminded me of Yellow Jackets, a couple of cool covers throughout the season.
Yes.
There's another good one next week. But that one I love that cover.
It's really good.
Wait, what is it? Yellow Jackets that song is in too? We talked about that song, not the cover, but
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter, but it came up in something else that we watched in the last year or so. But anyway.
Yeah. But we end the episode with him taking off to get to Carol, and immediately you're like, wait, but there's some stuff in between.
Yeah.
And his car doesn't seem it's not 4-wheel drive.
No.
It's not in great shape.
He's obvious. I mean, he could request Air Force One, but we know he's not gonna.
No.
So,
all the speculation after that episode was about the very large obstacle between South America and Southern California, or not Southern California, New Mexico, which is, of course, the Darien Gap.
Right.
So that is a problem.
Yeah, especially knowing, like, at this point, the next episode, the title is
The Gap.
So
I also thought it was interesting, like, the little that I read about the actual Darien Gap, like, part of the problem with it is the terrain and the wildlife, but also, like, the cartels. Mm-hmm. And so my curiosity about it is what happened to what happens to bad people?
Hilarious.
Right?
I mean, we know, what happens is what happens to everybody, but what a wild thing to think about.
Are there people in cartels that are now wandering around the Darien Gap just like cleaning up and helping?
I think so, right?
I guess.
It must be.
I mean, that was my biggest thing was like, the actual terrain and the poisonous animals and the scariness of that is one thing, but like, apparently there are dirt roads through the Darien Gap, but nobody takes them because they're controlled by cartels.
Right.
And so like, it was interesting to kind of noodle on which is the bigger obstacle. Like nowadays in this time that they're in, it's not the people anymore.
Right.
So, theoretically he's mainly going to have to deal with the nature and all of that, which no, thank you.
Right.
I love camping and hiking, and I have very specific limits, and those are snakes and poisonous spiders and things that live in trees that can land on you. None of those are okay with me. So I'm out. I'm taking Air Force One.
Yeah.
I'm getting a ferry. I'm just not doing it.
Interesting to see what's going to happen when you are, and the resolve it takes to say no to help when it is right there.
Yeah. And food when you're starving. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is definitely like already with him a bit of a religious, like they're tempting him.
Yeah.
Over and over again. And he's just like, no. Mm-mm. So.
Can't wait to see what happens next week.
Well, but we've got 2 more weeks before we're going to talk about it again with our listeners, because we have to wait until the last episode comes out. But next week, like we said, last week is going to be our best of 2025 episode, which I'm excited about.
Me too. I've got some stuff to share. I know you do too. And Jodie, this is the first year we can ask our listeners to take part in it.
Yes. Call us. Tell us what your favorite piece of media of 2025 was.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a TV show. Right. It can be a book, a podcast, a
video game,
whatever.
I mean, really anything. If I'm missing out on some sort of perfectly engineered food, like if you found the new Oreo or Dorito,
milk,
like
the strawberry milk that's made of people.
Exactly. I want to hear about that.
Yeah.
A new hobby you took up? Just tell me how I should spend that gray area between
Oh my God.
Christmas and, well, for me, I don't know when it starts again, but for when, classes start again, basically, is the gray.
Yeah, that is the perfect time to engage in some like binge watching of content that you missed during the year. So
that's right.
Yeah, let us know. We will let you know what ours are.
You can do that by emailing us, WatchersPodNJ. But way more, I would love to hear from all of you. 856-336-8986.
Yes. And that was WatchersPodNJ at Gmail. You can reach out to us on Instagram at WatchersPodNJ. You can find me on Instagram at Jodie_Mim. And
I'm at AQ Andrea Q.
That's right. And just like last week, and like Minusos, bang yourself in the head.
Get in the
car. And unfortunately, he's not doing this, but go to New Jersey.